Last season, the Boston Celtics found themselves in yet another hard-fought battle for the East, facing the Miami Heat in the conference finals for the second year in a row. Miami would go up 3-0 before Boston was able to get a win on the road, defend their home court for once, and then go back to Miami for a Game 6 that would feature one of the craziest endings in NBA playoff history.
The Celtics are going to win. There's a Game 7 back in Boston.
Game 7 was in Boston, and the Celtics had all the momentum to pull off the comeback, until Jason Tatum rolled his ankle at the very start of the game. Jaylen Brown had a bad game, and Derek White alone wasn't enough to lift the Celtics past the Heat. Boston's season would come to an end just a game shy of making their second consecutive NBA Finals appearance. This team was obviously still a title contender, and Brad Stevens wanted to give this roster the necessary changes it needed in the offseason in order to get over the hump. The Celtics would part ways with the Time Lord, Malcolm Brogdon, and even the longest tenured Celtic on the team, Marcus Smart. They would give Jaylen Brown a max contract in addition to gaining Jrue Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis. The moves that Brad Stevens executed gave the Celtics the best offseason of any franchise in the NBA. The team wouldn't just be great on paper, it would be great on the court as well. At the time of making this video, the Boston Celtics have a record of 38-12, the best in the entire NBA. They haven't seemed to miss the guys they got rid of, and their new additions have not just fit in, but have given the Celtics a new dimension of offense that they lacked in the past. Every single starter can shoot the three ball well. They are fully invested in one of the association's most recent beliefs: live by the three, die by the three. They lead the NBA in both three-pointers attempted and three-pointers made. And so far, playing the high-volume three-point game has awarded the Celtics the #1 seed in the entire NBA. Shooting isn't the only thing that has granted this team the #1 seed. They lock down on defense as well. They have the third best defensive rating in the association, following just Minnesota and Cleveland. With that being said, how does Boston's competition stack up against them in the East? This season, there's a fair amount of okay teams in the Eastern Conference. Those are Orlando, Indiana, and Miami. Then you have a couple of very good teams in New York and Cleveland. None of those teams are on the same level as Boston. Then we have what should be great teams in Philly and Milwaukee, but they're both fatally flawed this season. Philly was looking great until Joel Embiid got hurt. If history tells us anything, it's Embiid's injuries linger and will continue to bother him throughout the remainder of the season. Without their best player at 100%, the Sixers are not a legit threat in the East. Moving to Milwaukee, on paper, they should be one of the best teams in the NBA, but they seem to be having a bit of trouble behind the scenes. Their head coach, Adrian Griffin, got them about halfway through the season with one of the best records in the NBA before the Bucks fired him. There were rumors floating around that Giannis did not fully believe in him, and apparently that was spreading to the rest of the locker room too. So the Bucks decided it was in the franchise's best interest to get rid of Griffin now and bring in someone else who could pick up their team and immediately make a title run. So they got Doc Rivers, a coach who was known for choking in the playoffs. So with Embiid being hurt, the Bucks having a head coach that will inevitably lead them off a cliff in the playoffs, and the rest of the East teams being okay to good, the Celtics don't have heavy competition. And that's one of the biggest reasons they really need to win the East this season, because we don't know what the landscape is going to look like next year. Something that the Celtics have lacked for a very long time is a true point guard. Marcus Smart offered fantastic veteran leadership and lockdown defense, but he didn't exactly command the offense. Smart typically couldn't create his own shot and wasn't great at creating shots for his teammates. Yes, he did those things here and there, but that's just not naturally his game. So when the Celtics traded him away in a 3-team deal and got Kristaps Porzingis in return, C's fans were happy to have the unicorn, but confused as to how the offense was going to run. That confusion would be cleared up a few months later once Brad Stevens traded for Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday was exactly what the Celtics needed on offense. A champion who can generate offense on every possession and play lockdown defense on the other end of the floor. He's averaging 13.1 points, 6 rebounds, 4.6 assists, and 42.3% three-point shooting. Holiday seemed like he would be a good fit on this team, and it turns out he's a great fit. Going back to Porzingis, he was another player that seemed like he would be a good fit on this team, and again, he's been great. The Celtics lost the rim protection that Time Lord provided, but he wasn't on the floor enough for the team to miss him that much. And Porzingis has shown to be exceptional at protecting the rim himself. Porzingis has also brought another dimension to the offense. He can shoot the ball from just about anywhere on the court, which forces the opponent's big men to come out of the paint and leaving it open for Tatum and Brown to get straight to the rim. Porzingis is averaging 19.6 points and 6.9 rebounds per game with a 52.2% shooting percentage, a career high for him. The Celtics' two new big additions have fit perfectly. To round things out, we're going to finish where we started, Derek White. Derek White had a great season last year, but this season, he's been phenomenal. He's averaging 15.7 points, 4 rebounds, and 4.7 assists per game. He's actually the 5th highest plus-minus in the entire NBA behind just SGA, Jokic, Tatum, and Paul George. That is wild. His high plus-minus shows that he always just makes the right play. Forcing turnovers, finding the open man, taking and making big shots. He's everywhere on the court. He's been so great that I really think he should have been an all-star this season. I don't think anyone outside of the city of Boston thought that Derek White would be having this great of a season this year. And this is all in the regular season. Imagine what he's going to do in the playoffs when he really heats up. I mentioned all of that to say that the Celtics have the best roster by far in the East. You could make the argument that they have the best roster in the entire NBA right now. Combine that with the lack of strength from the rest of the teams in the Eastern Conference. Barring any injury, they have no excuse to not make the NBA Finals this year. What do you think about this Celtics team? Yes, I'm clearly a Celtics fan. Season like they seem to always do, and once again have another battle with this Boston team? Let us know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please take a second to hit that like button. It helps the channel grow. Also subscribe, that way you can keep up with all of our new videos as they come out throughout the week, and our NBA and NFL podcast, After Further Review, that we live stream right here on this YouTube channel every Wednesday night. Thanks for watching. I'll see you boys around. Peace.